Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Categorically Romance Podcast. My name is Bree, and I'm joined today by one of my favorite people to keep up with online. My friend Susan is here from What Susan Reads. Susan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
And we did a buddy read, which we'll get into that. But first off, tell us a little bit about you. Tell
Mhm.
us all the deets. Tell us about starting your Bookstagram and all of that.
Yeah.
Tell us everything.
Okay. So my name is Susan. I am a military spouse and a mom of two. And I'm a big reader. I just always have loved books my entire life. They've just been such a huge part of my life. Just like from I can remember from just being like a baby up until like just forever. Like I just was always buying books, reading books, just loving them. And I've always like watched Bookstagram and like BookTube from afar, but I never like created one until it was like 2020, the year that we'll never forget. And I was like just reading a lot more than usual. And I was like looking at Bookstagrams. I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to make one. And I've like done blogging in the past, and I've done like YouTube in the past, and different like aspects of that, but I've never done anything book focused before. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to make one. So then I made a Bookstagram, and I just kind of had fun. I like found a lot of people like your Bookstagram and the podcast, and like I found like it opened up all these doors for me when it came to reading, specifically in the romance department, because I was almost exclusively like a mystery and thriller reader. Like I love mystery books and thrillers, but I don't know like if my anxiety was like making me like not want to read them as much. Like I still read them a lot, but like I don't know, I just started reading romance more, and like learning more about romance, and I just fell in love with it. And so that's been like a huge thing for me since like I started my Bookstagram, was like reading way more romance than I ever read before. Yeah, and I just like enjoy connecting with people and talking about books and see what other people are reading. And I've probably spent a lot of money in the past couple of years just from like doing like being online more in like the book space, because it's just yeah.
That'll do it. That'll do
You
it.
see all these covers, and I'm like constantly adding to cart. Oh, I guess I should check the library, but like it's just crazy. But I mean, I think it's a good habit to have at least.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could be spending our money on worse things.
Yes,
That's how I justify it.
exactly. And I actually found your Instagram through the Bubbly Sesh podcast, which was like Hallmark's podcast.
Oh my God, I
I
miss them.
I know. I used to listen to that because I love Hallmark movies. They just like bring me the warm and fuzzies and make me so happy. So I was like listening, or I think I was watching one of their live streams, like, and it was like Countdown to Christmas, and you were
Oh,
on one
I
of them.
remember that. Oh God,
You were
Susan.
on one of them, and so I was like, oh my gosh. And so like I then I started following you, and then I found out about your podcast. And like you also like I've always known about like Harlequin books and stuff. I've seen them in Walmart, but I've never like gone and like read a lot of them. And then after, because of you, I started picking them up, and I've like devoured them. I love them so much. Like
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I enjoyed so much. Like I've always seen them, and I think like my mom maybe has read a few here or there that I've seen like growing up, but I never like took the plunge. And now I'm like devouring them like crazy because they're so good. And I just like feel like I did a disservice to myself because like I didn't take that opportunity to like read them, and I'm like I missed out on all of these great books because like I
Oh,
just
girl,
didn't go and
same.
buy them. And so now I love it. Like they're wonderful, and I think a lot of people probably just like walk by them, and I'm like, don't read them, please.
Yeah. So you came to, because I came to romance as an adult. So you came to romance as an adult too.
Yeah, for the most part. I read like I guess like in high school I read a lot of like Sarah Dessen books, and like I know Nicholas Sparks isn't really romance, but I didn't know at the time that he wasn't
But we
romance.
thought he was romance
But
for a
I
long
thought
time.
he
We did.
was, and I like
I definitely
read
did.
yeah, I didn't realize he wasn't until I'm like, "Oh wait, yeah, it's not supposed to be sad at the end. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
happy." But like growing up, I read like all of it, like The Notebook, A Walk to Remember. Like I read all of those, and I loved those. Like when I was in high school, and Sarah Dessen, I've read all of her books when I was in high school too, and I loved those. So like occasionally, but I was more like really into like the mystery thriller books, a lot of like paranormal. Um, I also read a lot of vampire books, but that was like the time I was in high school and like everything was vampire, like Twilight and all of
Yeah.
that. So like I guess I kind of read some romance, like not really realizing.
You were sowing the
Yeah,
seeds.
like not really realizing, but like I really got back into it. Yeah, definitely once I like got onto Bookstagram and I was like, wow, I love romance books so much.
Yeah. Okay, so we have to backtrack because you mentioned that you did blogging and YouTube,
Oh
but it
yeah.
wasn't bookish. So what were you doing?
So I had a blog for a while and it was actually like kind of like nerd focused. So I'm a really big Star Wars fan. And
Okay.
so it was like Disney and like Star Wars kind of like related. Like I would do like outfits, like inspired by characters, and I would read all of the like Star Wars novelizations and like go to movies, and like I connected with tons of people through like the Star Wars community. Um, but it just kind of like faded away. I still love it. Like I love Star Wars and stuff like that, but it's just like I don't know. I wasn't like as passionate about like blogging about it. I was like, I just want to enjoy this for like the enjoyment aspect of it.
Mhm.
And then and like I was involved with this organization. It's not really around as much anymore. It's called Geek Girl Brunch, where I was like an officer in this Geek Girl Brunch, and like me and a bunch of other girls. It was when I was living outside of Philadelphia. Like we would meet every like once a month and we would all meet together and it'd be themed with something nerdy and like stuff like that. So I was like really heavily involved in I guess like nerd culture. um and I
That
loved
is
it.
so cool.
Yeah, it was so much fun and it was a really cool way to like meet other people who liked the same stuff that I liked. Like I've grown up on Disney. Disney is like a huge part of my life too. I so like that was like big, and so like and it was like when all of the new Star Wars movies were starting to like come out. So yeah, I was like just gung ho about it and I started blogging and it was really fun. And then my husband joined the military, and then was like looking on YouTube for like more people who were like in my situation where like life was changing, and like I keep going to it, and so I kind of like started to make some YouTube like informational videos about like your husband joined the military, what do you do now, kind of thing. And I did that for a little bit and like a little bit of like vlogging, I guess. And then
I love vlogs. You
I
got to get back
do.
into
I loved it. I
vlogging.
loved it. Yeah. And then like I had kids and I
Oh,
don't
that'll change
really,
things real quick.
yeah. And I also just didn't want to like, I guess, share too much of my kids like I online like that. I mean, it's fine if people do. I don't care. Like, but for me, I just was like, I don't really want to vlog every day. And like, I'm not doing anything either. Like, I'm usually just hanging out with my
Yeah.
kids. So, like, I didn't have anything exciting. And it just kind of fell off of it too. So, like, I've always had like that creative bug, I guess I should say, of wanting to do something. So that's when like I focused on like Bookstagram and stuff. I like really have enjoyed that a lot. And it's something I'm really passionate about, like books. So I need to do vlogging probably more, maybe like more book vlogs or reading vlogs or something.
Some reading vlogs. I love a reading vlog.
Me
But
too.
I feel
And
you, like, I think, like, as a mom, vlogs felt very they felt I don't wanna say easy because 'cause they're not easy, but it felt like as a mom, I had all this permission to just, like,
mhm.
just vlog and not take myself too serious. Like, if I didn't have makeup on, it's fine. It's a vlog,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
It's like if
Yeah.
one of my kids is, like, yelling in the background, it's like, "I'm a mom, guys. There's nothing I can do." It just felt very different from, like, doing a sit down video with a list
Yeah.
of books to talk about. Like,
Yeah.
it just I feel like vlogs are meant for moms.
Yes. Yes. And I enjoy, like, I miss old school YouTube. Like, I wanna say, like, 2015 YouTube, like, watching those types of videos, and, like, it's so different now, so, like, whenever I log on, I'm, like, trying to find, like, those old school videos of just, like, people like, it's everything's, like, super edited and, like,
Oh,
polished, and I'm like,
yeah.
"I can't do that."
I
Like, I wish I
cannot make a
could,
cute
but
thumbnail. I know.
I could try, but it's just not the same, and I just miss, like, I don't know, I just feel like YouTube used to be more relaxed, and now it's a little bit
It
more
was. It
staged and,
definitely
like,
was.
fancy, and I'm like, it's too fancy now."
So, like, romance-wise, would you consider like, okay, what is your current romance era? Like, what is your what are you gravitating towards the most? And like, do you have a specific subgenre or subgenre that you pick up more than others, you'd say?
Small town romance, probably. There's just something about a small town romance that I just like, I
Yes.
just love. But I'm also really open to reading whatever. Like I'm really open. Like I'm just open to reading all the things. But right now I keep gravitating towards like Harlequin specific, like special editions. And
That was gonna be my next question. Do you have a favorite line or
so
like
I
a
keep
line that you're reading more?
But I just started reading like yesterday, the My Year with the Billionaire, which is from the Harlequin romance line by Rachel
Is that
Stewart,
Rachel Stewart?
and
Oh,
I'm
she's
loving
my
it.
fave.
So what's the deal? So here's the thing: is like I get confused about the lines with Harlequin sometimes. So like, is it like differentiating like the steam level between each book or the
As far as the
theme?
lines?
Yeah,
Well, romance okay, so yeah, romance is like the cousin to presents. So like,
yeah,
presents is like fairy tale, fantasy,
like soap opera,
alpha
like
heroes. Yeah. Romance is that, but a little bit take out like I don't even want to say the fairy tale, but like take out the fantasy element. Like those two are very similar. So
that's what I was
it
feeling, and I wanted to know, like, is there a big specific difference? But I guess Presents is more over the top almost.
Yeah, presents is like yeah, because I've had experiences where, like, I read, like, 2 presents, and then I was like, "Okay, I need a break, I'm gonna pick up a romance," and they can feel very similar.
Mhm,
It's just, like, I guess you'd have to take out that fantasy, very over the top dramatic element out of
mhm.
it, and then you have romance, but they can feel very similar, but I'm so excited that you're reading. I love Rachel Stewart, you gotta keep me
Yeah. I
posted.
actually I bought, it was like their Mother's Day sale. I bought 3 of her books, and then I bought a couple more presents books. Ugh, I can't remember who the author is, but there's like a hot air balloon on the cover.
Which one is that? This a
Dunaway?
special edition?
Or yes, the special
Oh my
edition.
god,
I'm
Michelle
sorry.
Dunaway,
Yeah.
yes, I'm reading that one now, Susan. I'm
Are
reading
there
it now.
does she have, like, 3 of them? Like f
Yes, so the
Okay,
next
I
one's
bought
like,
all of those then. I bought all of
yes,
those.
yes. Oh god. Oh god, I'm reading the first one now and
Mhm.
talk about a setup, right? Like, you wanna have that feeling of, like, there's no way these 2 people would be together, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, they were they together? They were like they were like childhood lovers, right? And
Mhm.
then he left first and then she left shortly after and then a friend kind of got between them and seduced him while she was
Ooh.
gone. This isn't like a spoiler, guys. This is
Yeah.
literally like in the first like the setup. And
Uh-huh.
so now that they're back in the same town and like the him and the girl actually got married and had a baby and then she died. And it's just that intensity of like
Oh my
you
gosh.
guys were so in love, but then you allowed somebody else to kind of sneak in and seduce you, and now you have a kid and you're a widow. Like,
Oh, I
it's that
can't
feeling of like,
wait.
they're going to be together because it's a
Mhm.
romance, but like the setup is so good.
You're like, "How are they
So,
gonna get there? How are they gonna get
yeah,
to
I'm
the
like,
end?"
how are they going to get there? I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. Like, I would feel totally betrayed because this was a
Mhm.
friend of theirs. And like, you have a kid, and like, I'll always be reminded of this betrayal. But I just feel like we're in good hands, and Michelle Dunaway is going to just blow it away.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, I bought
You're
all
going to
3
love
of
it.
yeah, I bought all of 3 of her books, and then I bought 2 of them. I can't remember. And then I bought all of the Rachel Stewart books too, because I was like, "These are all go together, so I have to read them all."
Yes.
But I'm loving the My Year with the Billionaire already. Like, I'm like, "Oh, they have to go live in this house together for a whole year? Oh my gosh, what
In
is gonna happen?"
Scotland?
Yes. I'm here for it. I
Yes.
think it's gonna be great, and I'm already loving it, and I also love when the author is British because, like, you can, like, pick out little, like, sayings and things and, like, that we don't really say often in
That
America,
we
but,
don't
like,
say.
yeah, so it's, like, fun. I love that.
Oh gosh, I cannot wait. You have to keep me posted
I
because
will,
that one
for
is just
sure.
so good.
For sure. And then I saw that they're releasing they have like a new, like, extra spicy line that Harlequin's gonna be releasing soon.
Yes. I think like 2024 I think January 2024, which
'Cause
I'm like, "Oh, that's not far away," and it's June.
I
So,
know.
yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
they got rid of Desire, which I'm kinda sad because I loved, like, Maisie Yates' Desire, like, books.
I
Like,
know.
love
I
them.
know. Desire right now, Desire it feels like a free-for-all in the best way possible because a
Mhm.
lot of the books that have been coming out,
Mhm.
I mean, I don't wanna say they don't read like Desires and make that sound bad. They're so fun. I'm like,
Mhm.
"This is different." Like, it almost felt like Desire had this, like, rebranding or something when in reality it's closing, which is so sad. So I'm like, "I don't know what's going on, but I'm loving Desire even more
Right.
right now," and
Mhm.
it's crazy because we're losing it.
But hopefully that means the new one that's coming out is gonna be just, like,
It's gonna be
perfect.
crazy. I know. I'm excited. I'm so excited. So do you feel like would you say like special edition is your fave or
Yeah,
what?
I think, right now it definitely is. It's the one I gravitate towards the most. And then I'm really loving this romance. I haven't read a lot from the romance line, so I'm probably gonna have to pick up some more afterwards and see how I feel about that, but
You
I
have to pick
like
up a Sophie Pembroke. Pick up a
okay.
Sophie Pembroke.
Okay,
Yes.
definitely. Yeah, I just like I'm kinda like loving the like rich billionaire and like that's kinda cool. So
Yeah. The thing I love about romance is that oh, Allie Blake too. You got to read Allie Blake. But
okay.
like some of they're so like they're fun and they're really fun and flirty. And I
Mhm,
want to. It
mhm,
depends on the author because some of them are like Therese Bahari. She's not writing for them right now. She's fantastic. Hers tend to be really emotional,
mhm.
but I mean she's so good. But like some of them are just like really fun, flirty contemporaries. And I
Which I
think that's
love.
what I love
Mhm.
about romance so much.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I'm like also in my special edition era because I'm like everything
Mhm.
that I have been picking up. There I read one by Kaylee Newell a couple months ago, and I just picked up the second book in the series that she has with special. And then you and me, we both loved that Terry Wilson.
Oh,
When is the
so
next
good.
Terry Wilson
August,
coming out?
right? And then she released this week her the 3rd one, the Christmas one that's coming out. In
Oh
that
my
series, the
gosh.
title or the cover, it's beautiful. I'm like so excited. I love Terry Wilson. I love everything she writes. They're just like, I don't know, they just make me happy every time I read her work. Like I just
Yeah.
I'm so happy afterwards. And I loved it. And I like not as in like her I don't typically like I think I like the secret baby thing, but like I really loved it in that book. And I was like, maybe I do like secret babies. And then I read like a Harlequin medical and it also had a secret baby. And I was like, wait, maybe I love secret baby tropes. And I didn't know that I did.
Yeah, and the way I guess the way that it was done in that book too,
It
it
was
was
so
just
good.
it was so good and it was kind of different. I don't
Mhm.
know, like I don't know how you like I feel like I've been screaming from the rooftops like people you have to read this book. It just felt like knowing Terry Wilson as
Mhm.
two people that have read her and love her, did it not feel like
Yeah.
she's wanted to write this book for a really long time? Like
It
it just felt so Terry Wilson.
mhm. This like if I didn't have I would have been like, I think this is a Terry Wilson, like reading it. Though it felt like her and it was so
It
good.
felt like her. Yes. Well, we read Lightning Strikes Twice by Elizabeth Hrib, which I'm pretty sure is her debut with special edition.
Mhm.
It is. Okay. So it's Hatchet Lake book 1. I'm really excited to know that there's going to be a book 2. Who do you think it's going to follow side character
I
wise?
think
Are you
it's gonna
thinking
be
Sarah?
Sarah. Yeah, because
Me too.
yes. And I'm excited because I think she's hilarious.
She is. Oh, she's
Sarah was so
hilarious.
funny. And I'm really excited for book 2 because I just wanted more of her. And I love that she has a son and like she's a single mom. So it's like it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Also, I love how she just like basically is at the very end of the book, like moving into her best friend's
Yeah.
parents' house.
She's like, I already cleared it with your mom. We're on our way.
I was like, that's wonderful.
Well, I have the book pulled up on Harlequin's website, so I'm going to read it and then we'll get into our overall thoughts. So,
Awesome.
it says, "Warning, stormy weather ahead. He's betting on friendship, she's banking on love. Recently single livestock vet Kate Cardiff is tired of risking her heart. So when an emergency calls her home to her family's struggling ranch, Kate is ready to help and definitely not looking for love. It's dislike at first sight when she meets temporary ranch hand and storm chasing photographer Nathan Prescott. He says he can win her over, but Nathan lives in the moment, not for the future. If Kate opens her heart to someone who lives on the edge, will taking the risk lead to another heartbreak or a new beginning? Okay, first off, we read I can't even remember. When you saw the cover, when you saw the title, what were your initial thoughts? Was it like no brainer, I need to read this? Like give me your thoughts before you got into the book.
So when I first looked at it, the cover, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. There's like rainbows on it. It's raining. They're like kissing in front of a truck. I was like, oh, this looks good. And it like reading like the title, I kind of was like, are they storm chasers thinking they were like weather people? And then I started to think, oh no, is it going to be like Twister? And like Twister traumatized me watching it way too young. And so like I'm terrified of tornadoes. So I was afraid it was going to be all like tornadoes, like half of it. And I was like, I guess that's exciting though. So like I'm like, life, there's like life and death situations and romance. I mean, that could be fun. But I was excited. I like the color, like the cover just like was attractive and I like grabbed it immediately. Yeah. When I read about, I was really curious. So I thought going into it that he was going to be like a storm chaser, not a photographer.
I did too. I was like, okay, this is like you. I was like, is this like a Twister? Is this Twister fanfic?
Which could be good, which like should happen. Like maybe someone could write it. And like I wanna like maybe rewatch Twister one of these days because I'm like terrified of the movie now. Because like when I watched it younger, I was like terrified. There was tornadoes all the time. I did not live anywhere where tornadoes happened, but like it just scared me. And they're making a new one, I think.
I heard that. Oh my gosh.
With
I'm excited.
Glenn Powell, I think that's his name. The guy he was in Top Gun Maverick, and he's in that new rom-com with the girl from Euphoria. What is her name? I can't remember. But yeah, they're like I kept seeing things all online about them in this new rom-com that's like based out of Australia. They look like a cute couple, so I think they'll be great in a rom-com. But yeah, I think he's supposed to be in the new Twister. So maybe I'll watch it.
Having read the book,
Mhm.
overall thoughts, what'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was good. I really enjoyed how he was like all in. Like
He was.
I kind of like the idea of the guy being like, "Look, I'm all in. I'm here for you." And she was kind of like more standoffish. I liked that dynamic. And I liked that he was like very respectful during the time that her dad was like suffering and in the hospital and kind of overcoming his heart attack and all of that. I thought he was like he came to the hospital to make sure she wasn't alone. Like I think I highlighted that line. Like she was like asking him why he came, and he's like, I just didn't want you to be alone. And I was like, oh, my heart.
Oh,
Like
I
it
know.
just
I
was
know the
so
sentence. I
wonderful.
highlighted it
Yes.
too.
I was just like,
I was like,
oh, my heart.
oh.
That scene of them in the pickup truck, like looking at the stars, was just so romantic without being like they weren't like kissing or making out or like having sex or anything. Like it was just so romantic to just like know that he was there for her when like crap hit the fan and like her dad was back in the hospital. Like just I don't know, like that security, I guess I like really love.
So the book, I was thinking like, okay, we'll just kind of go through it chapter by chapter.
Mhm.
And I don't think we need to do that. Like, I think the best way to talk about this book without really spoiling anything is like in the beginning, the very first chapter, she's delivering a calf in the middle
Yeah.
of the night.
That was
So
an extreme.
that's our introduction.
Uh-huh.
And we kind of get her like internal like perspective of
Mhm.
like we learn that she's recently single,
Mhm.
she's been on the dating apps, things haven't really worked. We kind of are also introduced to her best friend Sarah. I believe Elizabeth Hrib is actually a nurse in real life. Like her day job
Oh,
is a
nice.
nurse.
Mhm.
So that's really cool to see Sarah, her best friend in the book, is like a traveling nurse. And then like chapter 1 kind of ends with her getting a call from her mom. And then I think chapter 2 begins with us learning that her dad um has recently had like some heart failure, and that's why she's going home. So, I mean, with us being Hallmark lovers, this is kind
Mhm.
of what we come to expect, I think, with small
Uh-huh.
town romance.
Yes, I did. I saw this like playing out, and like Nathan definitely gave me like Tyler Hines vibes. Like I could see him playing the character. Do you do that when you read books? Sometimes you see
Yeah.
the like actor that you want to play it in your mind.
Yeah. Even if they don't look anything like
I
that's
know.
described.
I know. And I think it's just because Tyler Hines is probably my favorite like Hallmark hunk. Like I constantly cast him in my head and as the leading man in many books.
He's
Um
so good.
he's like a good guy, like outside of acting, like he just seems like such a genuine, like nice person. So maybe that like I don't know, he's good. I just like him so much.
Yeah. I think the book, like, I guess not trying to get like too far ahead, but
Mhm.
I just want to make sure like we talk
Yeah.
about it. Like,
Yeah.
it is like reading this and then watching so many of those movies. I think that the book did a really good job of capturing how, and like we're in our small town romance era. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like everything I'm reading right now is small town romance, but like it's, it's, your hometown is the place you could not wait to get away from.
Mhm.
And in this book, Kate, it's her dad, like it's a no-brainer. I need to get back home. I need to be with my family. And then you realize the place that you couldn't wait to escape, I guess isn't so bad.
Yeah. And as someone who doesn't no longer lives in her hometown, I feel that. And that's what I like love about that coming home like books is like I feel that like I miss like a lot about my hometown now that I don't live there. But it was the same thing growing up. You're like can't wait to leave. Uh so she did a great job, a really really great job at like capturing that like you said.
Yeah. And I think in Kate's case, it was really just almost like everything she maybe thought she wanted or
Mhm.
searched for, she hadn't found. So, I mean, I don't want to say like everything was a failure, but it was just kind of like, I mean, home will always be there. It's always an
Mhm.
option. It's always kind of a place that you can return to.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, you had your opportunity, you got out, you were able to see the world, but like this isn't, I don't know, this isn't so bad, I guess. And maybe you do need like that fresh perspective to see it differently. Like maybe if you stayed, you would have been a little jaded, you know. I don't
Mhm.
know. I just think she did a really good job with that.
And I love the family dynamics too. Like I
Yeah.
loved that her mom was like kind of like wanting to get in her business and she's like I'm your mother. I like you need to tell me what's going on. Like tell me things. And like her dad was still being very like much her dad even though he was like in the hospital like trying to get out like look, I'm just going to go home. Like I don't like I have stuff to take care of. I'm not staying here like trying to sneak out of the hospital and like wanting to shield her from the fact that they were having money troubles with the ranch and everything. I just she did a really good job at like just kind of like capturing that like family dynamic.
And even the love between her parents, like there was a scene, I think, oh, it was at the end. She said something like, I know if my mom were to follow me, my dad was going to follow her. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
because they've been together for so long and you just know like she's the
Yes.
boss. Like the mom's the boss and he's totally crazy about her after all
Uh-huh.
this time. Like he's gonna follow her. I just
Love
loved it.
that. It's
But so
amazing.
like the beginning, like so she gets home and I mean fill in the blanks if I miss anything, but like
Mhm.
that's where she meets Nathan. She meets Nathan in the barn. She's
Mhm.
like reconnected with her like childhood horse, Shade. I love that name.
Mhm.
Um and he kind of steps in and it is dislike at first sight. So
Mhm.
I was like, when's the last time I read one of these? Which I think was really interesting. So hear me out. I feel like a lot of times with category, a lot of the ones that I read, there tends to already be a trope. The trope that is used gives us established chemistry already, whether it's like second chance, childhood friends, whatever.
Mhm.
I really thought this was interesting that this they did not know each other and it was dislike at first sight. Cause now you have to establish that. So like what did you think about that trope?
I it was quick that they kind of like fell for each other, I guess.
Mhm.
because of that. I liked it. It was different, like you said. Like it was something I wasn't expecting. I kind of almost thought that this like new Nathan character, like I thought he might have been from the town, but he kind of just was like a traveler. So he was brand new. And I feel like she was kind of like sassy to like dislike him immediately. Like, I don't
She
know.
was,
If
yeah.
somebody was like at my parents' property and like in their barn, I don't know if I would have been like, what are you doing here?
She was
Like, get
kind
away.
of
Like,
mean.
yeah, she was like really sassy towards him immediately. And it's like, he didn't really give you a reason to dislike him. But
Yeah.
maybe it was because she was attracted to him and she was like, I hate all men kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because she was like dealing with, like, after her breakup and everything, she was like, I just hate all men and you're included. Sorry. But then immediately he was clearly attracted to her and was like already starting the like little flirty banter, which I really enjoyed. I thought that was like really cute how they would do like the kind of the banter. I don't know. I think it worked well.
Yeah. I felt like I was fearful at first because I was like, this is gonna make the romance portion feel really slow
Hmm.
because and we don't have a lot of time. If this is a
Yeah.
category, we don't have a lot of time.
Hmm.
But I think Nathan kind of was the saving grace because she was really snippy at him for a while. And it becomes this like, because he's not a rancher. And so she almost feels like you got to prove yourself or whatever.
Hmm.
And so it becomes like, if I can do this, then we have to be friends. Like all he's asking for initially is friendship.
Hmm.
And so I feel like that's the beginning of the book. And then like the middle chunk is really her seeing his world as far as like the chase, the storm photography.
Hmm.
Am I missing anything? What do you think?
That's, yeah, I mean, that was kind of it. And then her also kind of like getting acclimated with the town again. Like we meet a few more characters in the town and we kind of see that the town's like a very small town. And we meet the vet that's like retiring, which is important for the end of the book.
Yeah.
Um,
Because of course, he needs help.
yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, the middle of the book is really just like her, I guess, grappling with like, I don't like him, but like I kind of want to see what he's up to and kind of want to follow him around and see these storms too.
And what he
Um,
does is actually pretty cool. And his friends are
yeah.
cool.
Yes, I like his friends. I loved all the side characters. I thought they were all really fun. I liked learning about. I want to learn about them more. So I'm excited that she's doing more in this series.
I know, like, I'm like, I don't know. Do I want Tara to have a book before Rusty? Like,
Mhm. Yeah, right.
and I'm like, wasn't Rusty one of the guys in Twister? That's when I was like, oh, this has to be like Twister fan fiction. Because,
I think so. I had to have some kind of inspiration from it for sure.
so the storm, the actual like her going with him and the crew to like to kind of get an idea to see what they're doing, and then it becomes like she just kind of wants to go.
Mhm.
What did you I think that to me those were like the most fun parts of the book. And
Mhm.
then before I knew it I was like, okay, her like apprehension against him is slowly dwindling because
Mhm.
he's kind of a cinnamon roll
Yes.
hero, but he has this like really cool, I don't know, side hustle or hobby.
Yeah. I just thought he was like he wasn't giving up. Like she was like mean and he was like not giving up, like being nice to her. And like he really like wore her down basically because she was like rude. She was. And I know that that was the point. I know that was the point of her character. She's supposed to be rude, but like, and because she's like hard and off because of everything that happened. But I just thought he was like sweet and like kind of funny. Like he was kind of silly with like the way he would like kind of flirt with her. And eventually I knew it would break her down and she would fall in love.
Yeah.
It
What do
was
you
just a
think
matter
of
of
like
time.
yeah, what do you think of the rude, not always nice heroine? Like clearly there's like room at the table for everyone, but
Mhm.
when you're reading a romance and you're mostly reading from that character's perspective,
Not my favorite.
how does it affect what do you think of it?
I don't, because sometimes I'm like, come on, like be nice to him. He's nice. Like,
Yeah.
but that's probably my mind being like trying to be the character, being like, come on, he's being nice. He's just like brushing the horse in the barn. Like you don't have to yell at him. Not my favorite. I like the sassy, like, but I like it because it's also a little bit different. Like I feel like I don't read a ton of like the rude female, and usually like with grumpy sunshine kind of like tropes. I usually like the man to be grumpy, but I really liked it that he was the sunshine.
He was the sunshine and he
Like
was chasing
I
storms.
know. Like I really like I did really like that, and maybe it's just because I haven't read a lot of that like lately, so it was kind of like fresh for like a fresh like take on it. But sometimes I did kind of want her to be a little bit nicer.
And I guess my thing was like, and I feel so bad for like ever saying this because clearly there's room for all
Mhm.
types of characters,
Mhm.
but it can be difficult sometimes to read, especially if I don't I knew she had went through it obviously with
Mhm.
her ex and then trying the dating apps. She just was like at that point where she was like, I'm done. Like I don't have time for anybody's BS. And I was like, I got it. But I was like, he's such a nice guy. Like he hasn't really done anything.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, but it was still, I think it really made it a fun dynamic because in a way, I'm like, I could see this being a rom-com and his niceness and like determination to be friends with her would kind of be annoying, but so sweet.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I could see it definitely being a rom-com too.
So then, and in all, and I guess we have to say, like, during all of this, her father is still in the hospital. So I mean,
Mhm.
we get some scenes. We see her mom like on the phone with the hospital a couple of times. They do. Her dad does. There was like one scene where there was a complication, and I think that's a scene where that you mentioned earlier where he shows up. So like she never lets us forget like why Kate is back in the first place and
Mhm.
that her dad is in the hospital. But then the ending, I guess the last chunk, to me, the middle was like the most fun. But then the last is where like the pacing, I think, really picked up. Things
Yeah.
got really crazy. Her dad gets out of the hospital. And then, I mean, I guess this is kind of a spoiler, guys, but then a twister happens.
Yes. I was waiting for something like that to happen. Like the whole book, I'm like, I thought there was going to be a tornado. Like I really thought there was going to be a tornado somewhere in this book, and then all of a sudden it happened, and I was like really stressed. Like that entire time, I was like stressed, but I was also mad because I'm like, there's a tornado. Why are we not in the basement? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And see, I think when I started it, I was like, okay, there's going to be a tornado in this book. And then the more that they were like out and they were like taking these pretty pictures of like lightning, I was like, oh, well, maybe we're not going to go there. So when it happened, I was like, I was actually kind of surprised because I was like, in my mind, I had made it up like, oh, it's not going to happen. She's not going to do that. So it kind of took me by surprise a little bit. And I was like, I don't think I've read a tornado in a romance novel, to be
I've
honest.
never have either. And it's very stressful, especially because you're like, come on, just like I know that it's a romance novel. They can't like all get taken up by the twister, but like it was still stressful to me.
Yeah. And then I think the part that stressed me out the most was like the horses.
Finding them. I was like, they all can't just disappear. Like the horses have to be okay.
Yeah. Which listeners, lesson learned, like the best chance of survival for your horses, your livestock is to like let them actually out and let them be free. I was like, "Oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm I'm glad she put this in here."
I know. It makes sense though. Let them run away from the storm rather than
Let them run away.
keep them
Yeah.
in a box.
Did they ever say like what state is Hatchet Lake in? I was like, where is
I think
this?
it's in Michigan.
Yeah. Well, because she went to college somewhere in
Michigan, something.
Michigan.
Well, and I think isn't Elizabeth Hrib from Canada? Because
She
I
is. Yeah.
so I also noticed that wicked, like the term wicked was used a lot, like that's wicked, or they had a wicked time.
Yeah.
And I was like, where is this term from? And then I think it's like a New England term, but I also think it's a big thing in Canada. Like I noticed that was said several times throughout the book, and I was like, "Wicked!" Like where? It's not something I use, but I'm not from like that kind of area, so I was like, it must be something from up north. Like they must use that a lot. Um,
So maybe you're right. Maybe it was actually set in Michigan. I thought she like left home and went to school in Michigan, but maybe she left home and just went to a school in Michigan where she already lived. Because yeah, if Elizabeth Hrib is Canadian and they don't have any books, they don't do Canada settings, so maybe wherever she's from is close to Michigan. That makes a lot of sense. So
like,
maybe that's it. Elizabeth Hrib, if you listen to this, let us know.
yes. Are you saying like does Harlequin not do anything it's set in Canada? Is there a reason?
Yeah, like special edition,
It's
there's
only
no, you don't do Canada. It's all like the States. Yeah.
oh,
I wish they would,
interesting.
because there's a lot of Canadian writers like Laurel Greer. Her next series, she's a Canadian author. She said it, I think it's like Washington State, and she's like, it's basically Canada.
Yeah, the
She's
closest states that they can get to Canada. Oh, that's
yeah.
interesting. So are all of special edition only in America then?
Yeah.
Like not even Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it
Well,
okay,
because no, well,
interesting.
Darby Bayhan had a book called London Calling.
Ah,
Mm.
I don't
I don't
know.
know how she got away with that
Interesting.
one.
We're
Yeah.
like Harlequin, please let us know.
Let us know. I'm like, Canada, guys. Most of our editors and stuff are in Canada. A
I
lot of our
I
editors.
was about to say I thought like Harlequin was like originally based out of Canada, right?
And yeah, and it would be so cool to like for us as that live in the States, talk
Yeah.
about an escape. Give me a book set in a small Canadian town, especially like one of the ones that are like farther north. I would love
Yes.
that. Or like one of those small towns on the coast. I'd love
Oh,
that.
yes. And that's why I like really have been enjoying like other like stories that are set in other countries because of the escape like part. I'm like the one I'm reading now, the My Year with the Billionaire, where they're in Scotland. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
I know. Oh, kind of to end it off,
Mhm.
like I'm trying to think of the conflict. So like Nathan, okay, with Nathan, it's like, is he going to stick around? Like his
Mhm.
profession kind of has him on the go a lot. We know with Kate, she, has been in this relationship and she's kind of only back home temporarily. Like, what did you think of like their issues and like I guess how everything played out?
Well, for what it happened quick that like they made the commitment to like stay in one place together. But like I love he mentioned earlier in the book, like I've always wanted like I love traveling, but I've always wanted a home base and I don't feel like I have a
Yes.
home base. And like he mentioned that like much earlier in the book. And she almost like I guess like didn't believe him or like she was afraid she would hold him back. But like he before they even made any romantic moment, like had a romantic moment or anything, he had said something like that in passing. And so like he was before they even like connected, he was saying how he'd always wanted a home base. And I just the fact that she was kind of pushing him away at first, being like, I don't want to hold you back. I don't want to be the reason he doesn't go and chase his dreams and stuff like that. I'm like, but he already said he wanted a home base before all of this.
Yeah.
Which I just
He's basically like, I want a reason to
to
stay in one
stay.
place.
Yes, and she would be that reason. So when she got offered the job to stay home, and like I think part of her also was like looking for a reason to stay beyond just him. Like she didn't want to make a decision for like a man, but she also wanted to be there for her, like her family's ranch and help her dad. So when it all came down to it, and she like all the pieces fell into place, which obviously in a romance it's like the best part when everything works out in the end. I loved that like she joined up with her dad and she was gonna be a part owner and do her veterinary practice in town and he's gonna stay, and it was good. The ending I liked.
Yeah. I was able to pull up my quotes, the things that I highlighted on my phone. So it said, she said, it's a little more than just a point, Kate argued. From where she was sitting, it was a disaster in the making. It could never work, not long term. You'd get miserable, and then I'd be miserable. And then we'd both just be there miserable and hating each other. And he says, yes, are you done making excuses for all the reasons you think this won't work? Like, that was so Nathan.
Uh-huh.
He said, "You're right about that. I don't have to stay in any one place if I don't want to, but I never had one place that I wanted to stay before. One place that actually felt like home. That's different now." And I was like,
Oh,
"Swoon."
love him.
And then Sarah at this end says, "Oh, honey, bags are packed and we're leaving tomorrow. I've already cleared it with your mom. Apparently, there's room in the house now that someone's moved into the guest house with her boyfriend." Like,
Which
oh, I love Sarah.
I know. Also, okay, the scene, like right after the tornado came through, like the love scene, like, and then the next morning they like just like, I don't know. I felt like it should have been more awkward. Like, I know she's an adult, but like, she like stayed out in the guest house and then comes back
She did.
in to like her parents. And I don't know. It just, for me, like, they didn't even know that they were romantically involved. Like, her parents had no
Yeah.
idea. Like, she just like, it's one thing if they knew that she was like dating him or like, I don't know, like involved with him in any way. They're like,
I
wait a
know, like,
second.
walk of shame,
I
at
know. Like,
least.
she had it back into her parents because she was saying how much she disliked him this whole time. So I thought that was funny.
Yeah, yeah. It just it's that's why I think it's tricky to do, like, a dislike at first sight.
Hmm.
Like, we spend quite a chunk of the book with her not liking him, and then all of a sudden, we're just
Hmm.
supposed to, like, believe that, okay, they spent this wonderful night together, and then we just comfortably walk into the house the next day. It's
I
like, you
know. And
didn't even
like,
like him.
your dad, like I don't know. It just, yeah, that was just, it was just funny how that happened. Like the walk of shame back into your parents' house.
Yeah, yeah. But I think overall, I thought it was a really I think it especially, like, this time of year, I think it's a really good spring read. I mean, if
Hmm.
you pick it up in the summer, I think it'll hit just as perfect as it did. I don't know, there's just something, I don't know, like, different about it. I think it is kind of like that storm chasing
Hmm.
element to it. There's, like, I think that provides, like, a little bit of adventure.
Yeah.
um the dislike at first sight, it's like, regardless of me being like a little weirded out, it's like you said, I think I'm just so used to like Grumpy Sunshine
Hmm.
being the hero is the grump.
Hmm.
I think it just takes a little bit of getting used to when it's the heroine's point of view.
Hmm.
But and like you said, in the beginning, I really think the side characters shined in this. I loved her mom, and
Yeah.
even though her dad wasn't on the page that much, I just really you could just feel their love, the way that she kind of wrote just how dedicated her mom was to like making sure he was okay and like staying on him about, just like things you could expect from a couple that have been together for so long.
Yeah.
And then loved Tara and Rusty, loved Kate's friendship with Sarah. The side characters, I just think, really, really shined. I thought it was fun. It was a fun book.
Yeah. And that's like the side characters. That's like one of my favorite things about small town romances is like you meet all of these like characters throughout and you can like feel like you're there. Like the characters are what make the town, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
The
I just
community. We
yeah, I
love the
just
community.
yes. Yeah, so that's just something that I just love whenever I pick up a small town romance so much.
Okay, so let's do our Hallmark casting.
Okay.
Not that they would, I don't know. I wish they would do a film about a storm chaser, but who
That's
knows with
like
Hallmark.
okay, that seems like something they would do though, like something like kind of out of the box.
Yeah. I would love for them to
It
do that.
would they would probably need a lot of like CGI or whatever. But I mean, it might not be that great quality because there have been several Christmas movies where I'm like, that's all fake snow. And that's not like I can the way it's landing on his jacket is not real. Um
Yeah. But we're forgiving. We're
But, of
forgiving because
course,
it's
because it's I mean, I get it, like, I forgive all of that. I'm like, the quality might not be great with the CGI, but we could totally have a storm romance by Hallmark. Like, it could be like a spring I don't know, like, they need to run a new you know how, like, every season they have, like, Like right now it's
Yeah,
summer
like we're about to go
weddings.
into June. Well, we're in
Yeah,
June
June
weddings.
weddings. Yeah. Yeah, it should be like spring storms, and it's all like
Spring
storm
storms.
related. Hallmark, call me. I can help you out with this.
Yeah.
Um
We have ideas. I kind of like your idea of Tyler Hines, but if not Tyler Hines, I could totally see Andrew Walker being Nathan.
Yes. Honestly, like I love both of them so much. They're related, aren't they?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
Are
sure
they?
that Andrew Walker is like married to Tyler Hines' cousin or
Oh,
something.
wow. I would love that.
I yeah, so like I love them. I love like and I loved the movie they did with
Oh,
yeah.
three wise men
Yes, I love that movie
or
so
three
much.
men and a
Yeah.
baby. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Three Wise Men and a Baby. Oh, it was so wonderful. That was such a good one this past holiday.
That's like a classic. I'm like new classic Hallmark movie. It's so good. Those three
Yes.
together was fantastic.
They're so wonderful. And I keep seeing like what's the convention they all go to? Like Rama Drama.
Oh,
Is that
Christmas Con.
Oh yeah, or Christmas Con. Yeah, I want to go to all of these, but they're never anywhere near where I'm living at the
I
time.
know. I'm like, this one that's coming up next is in Overland Park, Kansas. And I'm like, maybe I just need to start paying more attention because this one is actually, I mean, it's drivable for me, but I'm like, that's like less than an hour from where my parents live. I'm like, I could have planned for this one and
Yes.
went to this one. But girl, I never know. I'll know like a week ahead of time. And I'm like, oh, Christmas Con is happening this weekend.
It's like a 10-hour drive for me from where I am. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little too far. One of
Because
these
you guys,
days.
y'all leave Texas. You left Texas.
Yes, we were
Oh
yeah,
my
we're in South Dakota now. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's fun. But we're more mountain
Different.
time now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I've been liking it. I've been liking it a lot. We've gotten a lot more rain since we've been here since than like we ever had when we were in Texas. It was like
Yeah,
so
there's not a lot
dry.
of rain.
But yeah, we've been liking it a lot so far. But I mean, have been moving like every year or 2 years because before we were in Texas, we were in Florida. And then before that, we were in Utah. Like we just keep moving like
Oh my
constantly.
gosh, you're getting to experience all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. We're hoping to like be here a little bit longer though. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're doing Andrew or Tyler for Nathan. What about Kate? Who's Kate?
I well, I didn't really think about that. Well, okay. Did you see what is the Tyler Hines and movie that he's in with? Oh my gosh, why can't I think of her name? She's in When Calls the Heart.
Oh, oh my god, not Aaron. Is it not
Yeah.
Aaron? No, it's not Aaron. Is it Aaron?
Yes. What is her last name though?
Oh gosh. I'm I
I'm
know
being a
let me
really bad Hallmark fan right now.
I look guys, look. When calls the heart, I'm googling it. And when we find it, I'm going to be like, duh. Aaron,
Krakow.
of course.
Krakow.
Krakow. Yep, Aaron
Krakow.
Krakow.
Okay.
I was
Have
like,
you seen the
not
movie?
Cahill. That's not there. That Aaron.
That's the name I was thinking of too. And I was like, that's not right. What's the movie that they're in? Tyler Hines and her are in. It's oh my gosh, now I gotta look up that movie. Okay, they were in a movie together that I loved. And she was like grumpy and like rude to him. They knew each other previously, but I typically wouldn't think of her as like a very good grumpy person because of who she plays in One Calls the Heart. And she's
Oh, the
like,
one it was always you. That one.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. I've seen it several times because I love it so much. I love it so much that I can't remember the name of it, obviously, but but I loved them together. I thought their chemistry was amazing. So she could maybe do that.
She could maybe be Kate. I can see that. I
Well,
can
who do
see
you
that.
think?
Like I can't see Lacey. I can't see Lacey being a livestock vet. Sorry guys. My favorite is Ashley. I always want to say Ashley Green, but I don't think Green is her last name. Is it Ashley Williams? It's like
Yes.
her sister was in Father of the Bride and
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
I love her. I don't know how well she would. It would have to be like a straight up rom-com, and maybe she could be Kate because she could
Yes.
be really funny.
Yeah, she's
But
hilarious. I
then I'm
like
like, but then she could be Sarah. Like, who would be Sarah?
her. Oh yeah. She would do good at Sarah, I think.
And then maybe we'll do. Maybe we'll do Tyler is Nathan so that Andrew can play Rusty.
Yes. See, they both have to be in it because I just think that their like friendship is wonderful. And I think that that
Yeah.
really plays well on the screen too.
And then what's her name? Like Rhiannon Fisher. She could be Tara. Like when I was reading the book, I was like, I was immediately thinking of her.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's our fan cast, guys.
Hallmark, call us.
Call us Hallmark. Okay, so what are you reading? Oh, so you're reading the Rachel Stewart now. What's on your radar to pick up this summer? Anything else that you want to share?
Gosh, so my birthday is coming up this week and I'm going to the bookstore this weekend and I need to make a list ahead of time.
Happy early birthday.
Thanks. Yeah, that's like one of my things. Every year on my birthday, I go to the bookstore and I pick up a bunch of books. So, right now I'm trying to read through a bunch of books that I already have on my shelf. So I have all of my Rachel Stewart books that I want to get through now, and then my other Harlequin Special Editions, and then I'm listening to a bunch of books, audiobooks too. I have a problem. I listen to too many audiobooks at like once, and I have to stop doing that because it gets very confusing. I'm trying to read some of the Tessa Bailey books. Have you read her?
I think I've read one Tessa Bailey, and I don't remember what it was called. But I did just get one in the mail, so
Oh,
maybe I'll
yay.
love it and get back into it.
She
But
has
I
a
need to
new
like
one. I was
you're
gonna
like,
say,
I don't need to be listening to this many audiobooks at once. And I'm like, I need to, because I have been terrible at listening to them. And then the library takes them away. And I'm like, oh, I should have just listened to it. I had it for 21 days.
I had to like speed up my speed though to like almost like 1.75 to like finish one of them that I had that like I forgot about. And it was like due in 2 days. So I had to finish that today while I'm like folding laundry. I'm like listening really, really fast. I can't even listen to them at normal speed anymore because then it sounds like everyone's talking in slow motion.
Yeah.
It drives my husband crazy when he hears my audiobooks. He's like, why are they talking so fast?
Yeah. Mine's like, how do you understand it? I'm like, it takes years of practice, but you get used to it.
I was like, I can't listen to it at normal speed anymore. I'm sorry. You just have to
Yeah.
deal with
Yeah.
it. And then I've been wanting to read Abby Jimenez. I have one of her
I
books
want to
on.
read that one so bad.
Yeah,
Her new one.
I have some of her stuff on hold through my library. They're her audiobooks, and I'm really excited because like they're starting to come through. Like, so I'm trying to read through that too.
I did not even know that this came through, but I got Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I was not expecting this audiobook to come in as quickly as it did. And I
Ooh.
almost did the whole like deliver later, but I was like, no, girl, just download it and
Yeah,
read it. So
I want to read her. She had one that came out earlier that what was it called? I don't know. I've been
the
wanting to read
one,
her stuff though, so I will put that
the
on
big
hold.
one that she had, like that came out last year that everybody talked about, I thought it was pretty good. I'm hoping that I love this one just a little bit better.
Mhm.
But we'll see. Right now I'm reading The Seaside Library by Brenda Novak.
Oh
And
yeah.
I kind of feel like this is what people talk about when they talk about a beach read, because it's a lot going on.
Oh yeah.
It's like three friends who are back. Well, two of the friends never left this island they grew up on, and one did, but now they're all back. And apparently, the guy friend was the suspect when they were teenagers in this like 12-year-old girl's death.
Oh my
And the
goodness.
two female friends, like they were together up to a certain point, and then like they went home for the night. And so like I guess there was like maybe like a 30-minute period where he was kind of unaccounted for, but they said that they were all still together, but in that time frame this little girl was like murdered or whatever. And he's like, they're like 16 or 17 at the time. So but I'm like, I don't know who to trust.
The
Obviously they
cover,
like lied.
okay. The cover of that book, if I'm envisioning it, did not make me think that's what that was
Right.
about.
Right. And I made the mistake of like, I usually don't get on Goodreads to add that I'm reading a book until I'm like 50 pages in and I know I'm going to read it. And I was like, wow, this does not have like the rating that I expected it to have. Like the previous
Mhm.
two books were fantastic. And so what I do is I tend to go, the 1-star reviews tend to be my faves because I just feel like that's people are really, really honest on those 1 stars.
Uh-huh.
And that's the same thing. Like people are like this, the cover is totally misleading. And I will say, I will give it that. Like I'm really hooked on it. I'm really enjoying it. But I'm like, this cover has nothing to do with this
I know.
book.
I just
And the
yeah, I
title
just
really doesn't either. Like
right?
one of the characters is a librarian, and that seems to be it. I'm like, I don't know why the title is this.
Maisie Yates' newest book that she came out with under the
Ellie
new
Banks.
Yes, I have the like an e-arc of that. I'm so excited to read that. Have you read it yet?
Yes. I haven't read it. You gotta tell me what you
Oh
think.
yeah, because I really enjoy like like domestic suspense. But that just like I was really excited when she came out with like said she was coming out with that because it sounds good. So that I
Yeah.
have that. That's I'm waiting. It's on my Kindle. I gotta read it. Hopefully this weekend actually I can start it. I've just been like really into romance right now. So I was like, I just want all the love right now.
Yeah.
But I also really want to read that one. So
And she said that it was like inspired by, cuz she lives in Oregon, so like one
Mhm.
of their actual like real wildfires, like that happened, and she was kind of just inspired of like how would I don't know how she explained it. It was just so brilliant how like she imagined how a character would react to that situation, but it was after the fire was already done. Like she had the time to process it kind of thing. So
Mhm.
I'm like, this sounds she's just such a good writer. I'm like,
Oh
I
yeah.
need to read it. I don't tend to read a lot of suspenseful things, but I'm like, it's Maisie Yates. It's
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Ugh, love her stuff. She writes cowboys so well too.
Oh my gosh, I know. People need to stop sleeping on cowboy romances,
I
especially by Maisie
know.
Yates.
And then did you watch Ride, the Hallmark show, the new one?
I haven't. Did you?
Yes, I did. I did watch it.
Was it good?
It like kind of made me want to get back into like the cowboy romance reading because it was good. I like
Okay.
really loved it. No, I like it. I enjoyed it. It ended on like a zillion cliffhangers. So if there's not a season two, I'm gonna probably be unhappy with that just because it was fun. Like there were a couple episodes where I was just like, okay. And then towards the end of the season, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah. I
I don't know if it's gotten good reviews by anyone else, but I'm easy to please, honestly. Like with stuff
Are you
like
excited for are you a June weddings person? A lot of I see a lot of conversation on the Twitter from Hallmark people that are like, we don't like June weddings. Like they can be hit or miss. They either like knock them out of the park, like Wedding Every Other Weekend with
mhm.
Kimberly Sustad and Paul Campbell. I
Yeah,
thought that movie was
I
so
love
good.
Paul Campbell. He's so great.
He's so great. But then they'll have these ones like Brooke Dorsey. I don't know how to say her last name. She did a wedding movie a couple of years ago, and I was like, this is awful, you guys. Like,
Yeah.
why did you do this?
Honestly, I don't like gravitate towards the wedding movies. Not that I don't love weddings, they're great. And like some of them are good. I don't know if I'm that excited. I love the fall, like when they start doing all the fall movies. But now
Yeah.
fall season is like cut short because they start Christmas so early, which I'm
They
not
start
mad at
Christmas so
either.
early.
But like
Yeah.
I want some more fall movies. Where are we going to fit those in?
Give us the fall harvest. I'm always complaining about that.
And I love like also the mystery, like the movies and mysteries and stuff. I enjoy
Oh, I
watching those on
know.
Hallmark too. They're coming out with a new Aurora Tea Garden, which I had no idea about because Candace Cameron's not with Hallmark anymore. They're doing like I just saw a commercial for it. They're doing like a I guess when she was young, like her first case. So they have a completely different actress playing her. Um,
Oh, I was wondering. I was like, how are they going to do this?
I know. I was like, that's going to be like definitely a soap opera move where you like completely change the actress or the actor like in the middle of a season or something. But no, they're doing it like I guess when she was younger. It's such a popular series that
Yeah,
I
that one's
guess
so beloved.
I guess they just don't want to like give it up yet.
I did enjoy the like one episode I think we've gotten of the like genealogy mystery series. I enjoyed that episode, but my fave, and it only has like 3 movies, maybe 4, maybe 5. I think it's just like 3 or 4. But Jesse Metcalf, I think. He's
The
in that Martha
yes,
Vineyards.
I
I
love him.
love that series.
It's so good. And I love him. Like I love him since Desperate Housewives. I was like, love that. That's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite shows of all time. Like I rewatch it all the time. I love Desperate Housewives so much. Yeah, no, I really loved that series too. I think that's a book series. I haven't read it yet though.
It is, yeah, yeah. I'm like, guys, give us more of this. I don't know what's going on with. I just feel like some of these mysteries, they'll start them, and you may, if we're lucky, get a couple of episodes, and then they just go radio silent, and it's like, why? Like
Yeah.
that Martha's Vineyard was really, really good.
And then there was the one that Alexa Penavega and
Oh
was
yeah,
like, I kinda
picture
like
picture
yes.
perfect mysteries.
Yes, yes. I enjoyed those, and now they're not making them, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows? But they also brought back the Murder, She Baked mysteries, like,
Yeah, the Hannah
and they brought
Swenson.
back that, so who knows? Maybe they're
Yeah.
gonna pull some of them back.
I hope. I hope. I mean, I feel like the mysteries are kind of like outshining some of the regular movies at this point until
Mhm.
Christmas comes.
Yeah.
Just like give us the
Have you
mysteries.
watched any of the national park romances? I've only seen, like, one of them, but those were kind of fun.
Yeah, I didn't watch the most recent one because I forgot to set it to record, but I tend to enjoy like the outdoors ones. I feel like it's usually the same actress. I feel like she is their go-to, or like that's kind of Cindy. I think it's Cindy Busby. I'm like, come on,
Yeah,
Cindy. You
yeah.
got to do something else. Like, don't put yourself in a box.
That's true. That's true. And I always see her because she was in I used to watch Heartland. I don't anymore because it's 1,000 seasons long and it's hard to commit to that many seasons of a TV show, but she was in that. Uh,
Mm.
she was in Heartland in the beginning. So I could always see her like as a teenager, I guess, in that show because she was in like the early seasons of it. So every time she's on there, I always think of her character, and she's nothing like it in any of the Hallmark movies.
Well, thank you for chatting Lightning Strikes Twice
Of
with me.
course. Thanks for
This was so,
having
and
me.
Hallmark.
Yeah, and thanks. I'm sorry. Sorry if I went off on some tangents. My favorite is when they start playing Christmas movies in October and like, oh, my husband's always like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's not even
"No,
Halloween yet.
I'm not kidding you. I need some Christmas cheer, okay?" And Hallmark
Yeah.
knows how to give it.
I get really angry. I kind of feel people because I'm like, I wish they would wait a week and then
Mhm,
because then they stop them like a week before Christmas, and I get sad. I'm like, don't do it so early in October. Push it back and like
mhm.
have the last Christmas movie come after Christmas. I think that would be really special.
Yeah, because everyone's still home because, like, most people don't go back to work, like, until after New Year's at that point, or they're still celebrating. I would love that too. But
Yeah.
I also still watch them in October. It's fine. Like,
Yeah, you do.
I had my daughter at the end of October, and I was in the hospital with her watching Christmas movies, and one of the nurses came in and was like, "Wow, I can't believe they're playing like how are they having Christmas movies? It's not even Halloween yet." And I'm like, "Uh-huh, sure. Go,
They have like
go
over
about your
40
business."
that they need to preview. So
I'm like, "Go about your business. I'm watching my Christmas movie in October."
well, plug for everybody where they can and should be keeping up with you online.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram, and it's at what Susan reads, and it's what period Susan period reads. And then I'm also on Twitter. I'm not on there as much. I mostly just kind of like retweet and follow people, but it's at Susan McCoog on there. But yeah, so I hope to bring in some new friends. But I had so much fun chatting with you.
Yeah, you'll have to come back. We'll have to do this
Yeah,
again. We got to read something else together. This
yeah.
is so
Just let me
fun.
know. I would love to.